Men are walking away from dating and women are starting to notice, including this lovely lady. Now, you probably recognize her from my yesterday's stream where I reacted to her video where she was teaching women how to properly ghost men. I'm not kidding. Now, today we're gonna look at three of her other videos that are a little bit more sobering. I have to say, it's almost like two different women. There will be three videos. The main one, to which we'll get at the end, is her question for men, and she's asking, "Why would you rather be single than in a relationship?" And that is a phenomenon that's been happening very recently, and it should blow your mind. It is unbelievable that this is happening. I mean, just saying that sounds weird. And men are walking away mainly in, for now, Western countries like America and European countries, but it is happening even here in Thailand where I live. But I get ahead of myself because men are walking away in two different ways. Most are just going back to their hobbies, family and friends, careers, and Pornhub, and they go like, "We're good," right? Now, some of them do hire women for the services that they need. Again, I'm trying to be very, not trying to break any terms of use of YouTube here, which is insane that you can't say it. And two are men like me who get the fuck out of there. I left America after living there for 30 years. So America was my home. I never thought I would leave America, but American women have driven me out. Now, unlike those men, not only I just was refusing to say, "That's it, no more women for me. What are you gonna do?" you know um but I also was able to get out and create this amazing life. Not only my dating life is amazing here, but my life has been upgraded, and my life was already great in America. Now, if you're sitting at home saying, "Well, I know I feel the same way, Alex, but what am I supposed to do? I have to go to the office every day. I have this." And but here's the thing: if you don't think you can do it, you're probably wrong. And this is why I've created this website here, the millionmanproject.com, where I give you a step-by-step instructions, what you can do to change your life while you still live wherever you live, and then set yourself up to move somewhere else, a country of your choice. And that's part of the course. There is, how to pick a country of your choice. For me, it's Thailand. Thailand to me is the most amazing countries for way more reasons than women. And that's what I did, because I walked away and I just kept walking, right, and then flying and swimming, and I so it's been amazing. But the I think where we're going to start first is with the video that she has that kind of is the root of it all, to me, I believe. Um, because, and let me share this video here. It's titled, "It All Started with Toxic Masculinity." So let's hear what she has to say.
The destruction of the American family is closer than you think. And this is only happening in America, by the way.
All right, well, she's wrong in both counts because one, it's already been destroyed. I mean, look at how many, the new generation has been now raised by either single mothers or simp fathers. You cannot grow up to be a dateable wife material woman if you don't know what a good man is, what a strong man is, what a family model is of a gender rolled couple, your parents, or you see how the roles are reversed. A lot of you have grown up in families where the woman wears the pants in the family, and the man, despite bringing the income, is the bitch. You know, and of course you're not going to be able to grow up to be a wife material. And on the other hand, as boys, a lot of you have been raised to just become simps automatically and not even know what a good man is. A lot of you, and this is why this movement is called the red pill, right, is because a lot of you are living in the matrix. You have no idea what a good traditional woman is. The very first module of my course, right here, the millionmanproject.com, it literally starts with me explaining in detail what a good traditional woman is, because a lot of you have either forgotten because it's been a minute, or just never even known that. And that is, I think, the biggest problem. And secondly, she says it's limited to America. It's not limited America, limited to pretty much every Western country. And I gotta tell you, I've lived here in Southeast Asia for 2 years, right? And I can tell you things have already changed, not for the better. I was just talking to another guy who I know here. We're friends. He speaks really good Thai. So unlike most men who come here and too lazy to learn Thai, he has access to all women here rather than like maybe 1% that speaks English. And he even told me that, after he got stood up on a few dates recently, he said, dude, just in the last year here in Bangkok, things have gotten much worse. The quality of women, the way they treat me is just gone downhill. So it is beyond America already because the real virus is passed by speaking English. If a girl speaks English, most likely she's going to be infected very quickly. My rule here in Thailand, as you probably know if you watch my channel for a while, is to I only date Thai women who do not speak English. That's just the rule. And my Thai is still not great at all. So I have lots to learn. But let's keep going.
By the way. First, they went after masculinity because it's the foundation of a strong and healthy society. Masculinity became toxic. Remember?
Yes. So, and I remember. So, what used to be a good, positive thing for men to be manly men has always become toxic. Now, this is a word that has been also recently used, as many words we had to create after this huge turn of events in the dating scene where women have become undateable, and we'll get to that in a second. Is that the word toxic was added to a lot of things, right? As soon as women realize, like, uh-oh, this is the type of man that call us out on our bullshit. This is the type of man who actually call for us to take responsibilities for our own words and actions, something that modern women are completely allergic to. Let's go after them and call them names, because really most American women are toxic, right? But what they've done really, really well is to take the names of what you would call them and turn it around and say, no, you are that. And it's stuck because men have no spines in America and Western countries, right? So toxic masculinity. Now, you know what? Oh shit! I should have worn my shirt. I have a shirt that says "toxic masculinity," and as my logo, it says "served daily." So I serve toxic masculinity daily because there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. Masculinity is masculinity. It is never toxic. It is what it is. It's only the word toxic is being used by women who don't like the fact that they can't have their way, which is quite rare. Men like me are quite rare nowadays. Most men have become simps and don't even know that, unfortunately. Um, so a lot of other words, like for example, narcissist, right? Somehow every single ex-boyfriend of every single modern woman nowadays was, of course, toxic, but also a narcissist. Now, if you think about it, the majority of Western women are narcissists. But guess what they did? Very successfully so. Kudos to all these women, right? Um, they started calling men narcissists, right? As soon as a man says, listen, I have boundaries. And if you're going to violate those boundaries, if you're going to disrespect me, get the fuck out. Right. I just actually, I'm just about to post a video where a man filmed doing just that. When a girl asked him for money, when they were in a car, he literally opened the door, said, get the fuck out, walk home. More men need to do that, and none of you guys have most of the time balls to do that and kick toxic narcissistic women out, but they've gotten really good at it. Now, remember Andrew Tate, right? Now, I'm not a fan of Andrew Tate. He is a shitty human being. However, he's kind of like Elon Musk, right? Without Elon Musk, there would be no electric cars. For those of you who are watching me, who came from my other channel, I had a very successful channel about electric cars. I'm a professional YouTuber for 6 years. uh, Now Elon Musk is a horrible human being, but not because of his just political views and stuff like that, because of the way what he's done to electric cars and Tesla, his own company, right? It's kind of the same thing. Andrew Tate, when he first started talking about dating, and that's the only part where I agree with him. he was canceled, right? He was kicked out of all these platforms because they're run by toxic narcissistic women and simps, right? YouTube owned by Google. Well, Facebook now less. It looks like they finally made some changes. But then there were so many men and his message resonated with so many men. They started reposting his clips in such high numbers that these platforms just were not able to consist. It's kind of whack-a-mole. They couldn't get them all right. And that's how Andrew Tate got really popular in the mainstream. And that's how, you would say red pill movement was kind of started going mainstream. Now, since then, him and unfortunately many others who followed, Fresh and Fit, the whatever podcast, the Pearly things, they've all unfortunately gone in such a way that I think it's more of a disservice to the red pill community than it is a positive thing. And that's why I started my channel, because I think there's a space for someone who doesn't mix, religion and Jesus and also Republican Party and Trump into modern dating. I think those two are separate things. Yes, I know these are more conservative values, but a lot of liberals still have conservative values when it comes to modern family. And I don't even think those are values that conservative. They're old fashioned, but they're not that conservative. So I separate those things. And I think that's a mistake that a lot of these influencers, are making. So Andrew Tate have become the first guy that a lot of guys said, wow, he's saying things that finally, first of all, opened my eyes to what's really happening. Secondly, organized a lot of my thoughts, but also gave me some ideas of what that and gave me an example of what a masculine man is who makes no excuses for his masculinity, right? And by the way, it's much easier to do it here in Thailand because here most women still very much appreciate a masculine, good man, and that's what they're looking for. That's why, you guys, I know a lot of you are tired and you just want to get the fuck out of, you don't want to date women anymore and just want to do your own thing. But please consider coming to another country. I'm telling you, your life will never be the same. um like I said, my life wasn't even that bad in America. It was really good. It was really good for the all 30 years there. I have nothing bad that happened to me in America, really. And yet I still left because I just did not want to deal with modern women. Now today is Friday here in Bangkok, and it will come to you guys also in the next 12 hours. And you know, tonight and tomorrow night, I'm going to some what's called expat meetups, because that's where my only chance to actually talk to modern women, and modernized Thai women. Because otherwise, I just ignore them in my everyday life. I just fully ignore them. I'm never friends with them. I don't date them. I don't screw them. Like, I stay the fuck away from them. When I see them, they don't exist to me. um and sometimes I would walk down the street and I'll be like, hey, was that a foreign girl? Because I block them out. But I know, because I'm doing this channel, I do need to feel the pain that you guys are feeling. So, like just like last weekend, tonight and tomorrow night, I'm going to some meetups where I will deal with modern women and talk to them. So, so I invite you guys to do that. Let me quickly take a quick question from one of the regulars in the live chat, because this is recorded live first. He's asking why things are so bad in America. I believe that big food industry that causes obesity and car centrism that leads to isolated society is to blame. I no. No, I mean, listen, there are many problems that are in America. Trust me. Like, for example, one of the things that I enjoy here is lack of crime. Like, I mean, forget about violent crime. I mean, listen, it still happens, but it's usually isolated to like family disputes, business disputes. Like, walking down the street and being stabbed or robbed or shot is not a thing here. As a matter of fact, like, for example, I work out of a coffee shop that's kind of like in an open space in the middle of the first floor of a mall here, where a lot of people walk by me all the time. And I have a brand new laptop, and I have I leave my jewelry. So I will like leave my laptop and my mouse and my jewelry and a bunch of other things, my glasses, my backpack, which also has a camera and some money, and I leave it on the table and I walk away. And sometimes I'll go get a haircut, I'll get a meal and come back in 20, 30 minutes, and it will all be there every time. And I see, like, you'll walk around Bangkok, you'll see someone's stuff and a laptop and an iPad like laying around, because this is how amazing Thai people are. You just the culture here is like not to be a criminal, not to be a thief, where in America, yeah, so that's number one problem. Secondly is healthcare. Here you can receive amazing healthcare, a million times better. Like, I dare you, if you have a an like issue, like, go call your doctor or your whatever medical group and say, listen, my heart's not feeling very well, when can I see a doctor, right? I need a specialist, I need a cardiologist. Would you be surprised if they say, listen, 2 weeks from now, you know? And you'll be like, yeah, but this is my heart. They're like, that's very common. That is unacceptable. Yeah, and you can have the best insurance in your state, right? That's very, and that, by the way, the reason I'm giving you this example is that's what happened to me, right? And then once I started cardiologist, they say, well, you have to do this test, and it's another 2 weeks, right? So I mean, I could have died of this. Thank God nothing was wrong in my heart. I did have the same concern here in Thailand when I came in, and it took me 2 hours to see a doctor. Not 2 weeks, 2 hours. Listen, 2 hours instead of 2 weeks. And then they immediately brought me to the room to do the test, and the doctor went with me and gave me the results within 0 seconds of that, right? So now we're comparing 2.5 hours with 4 weeks in America. That's unacceptable. Now, Thai people is the best thing about this place, despite these other things. With crime in America, I also didn't mention, I hate guns, but I ended up getting my license, and I would conceal carry my gun all the time. Uh, in not just in Texas and Nevada, but in California, I had a California permit. So and of course, this is such much more affordable. Everything is much more affordable. Even those essential, even the most essential services from men here are very affordable. Sometimes those services cost you less than to taking a girl out on a just regular date. You know, so yes, no, things are bad in USA is because, like I mentioned in the very beginning, men are simps, and families are now, the kids are being raised by single mothers and simp fathers, and men don't know what good women are. Men have no self-respect. They don't have a backbone, and they have no boundaries. And women just finally figured out how, with the usage of Instagram and dating apps, they figured out how to take advantage of that. So, I don't even blame women. Women just took advantage. Now, of course, women take advantages, all the time. But of course, this is on us. This is on men. So let me switch to the second video of hers, because I just wanted to, because this is how it started, right? Masculinity was called toxic. Andrew Tate and men like him have been, canceled and banned from the social media platforms. If you were just a regular Joe speaking this way, even now, you would lose your job. You would lose a lot of things in your life, right? Okay, so now let's get to the second video that I wanted to show you guys. So here's that one. And we're going to start from the beginning, because this is where she's asking the main question.
Here's some crazy research for you. So, a third of men, 33%, a little over a third of men between the ages of 18 and 29 are not only single, but they're not actively looking for a partner. The same study said that by the year 2030, that 45% of women between the ages of 20 and 45 will be single. So I've got
all right. So before she asks the big question, there's been quite a few studies, right? And you don't need to be a study. Go look at your local bar sometimes, right? Where there's now more women than men at the bar, where men are not approaching women anymore, where you just don't see as many couples anymore around. Your friends are more single. A lot of your male friends, like myself, go like, yeah, I don't want to fucking deal with these women. Fuck this. Like, it's not worth it. The pussy is no longer worth it. And that's really all a lot of these women have to offer. That's another thing. That's all they have to offer. So I have to do all of those things just to get this one thing that I technically can buy, and get nothing else. Why? Like, here in just Thailand, listen, I'm giving you Thailand as an example because that's where I live, but Thailand represents many other countries when it comes to traditional women, right? Southeast Asia, we have Vietnam, we have Cambodia, we have Laos, we have Philippines. Like, we have tons of countries with women with the same values. And then, of course, there's Latin America with Brazil. And there's tons and tons of menu. There are some Eastern European countries in Europe, like Czech Republic. I was there last year. Great. Now I used to say Africa, African countries before that, but I don't anymore because I just went there last month and dated aggressively and got the fuck out there 2 weeks earlier than I was planning to. And I love black women. Always dated only black women in America, and even tried it here. And I've made a video about it. It was 2 days ago. I streamed about specifically about what happened to black women. Of course, I had help just like this from a black woman, so um, that was great. Um, so it is very different because when you look at dating profiles here, even I still recommend, even here, don't date online. If you do, like me, just use like one or two local apps. Don't use Tinder, Bumble. They're complete shit everywhere you go. They're essentially just a agency for hookers of some sort, um, and you will see in many of these profiles, and even in Africa, a girl will say, I can cook and clean, and I'm agreeable and I'm kind. Like all of these feminine qualities, or I can give massages, all these feminine qualities that you want in a woman, they know they need to have, and they say, I have it. This is my value, right? Can you imagine a Western woman like her saying that? Like, first of all, they don't know how to cook and clean anymore, and if they do, they don't want to. So it is a completely different set of mindset. And yes, I'm not surprised that even young men nowadays are walking away from women completely. And yes, the prediction is right. Get ready. Like, if I was an investor, I would invest into stock of companies who, one, make cat food, and two, drug companies that make antidepressants, right? These are the two things that single women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s will be consuming. I would also invest in a company, if there's ever one, that has a fast tattoo removal. I have that video coming up. As you guys know, that if you know anything about anything, do not date women with tattoos, at least seriously. So that is a problem. So let me take a couple of more questions from the live chat. Tony here says, reporting in from Kata Beach. How can you guys stand Thai girls? I can't even get past their bad habit of speaking with the mouth open. I don't think that is the problem here of them speaking with their mouth open. I've never heard of that, actually. So Thai girls are separated into kind of like three categories, right? One category is Thai women who speak English and are westernized, right? I stay the fuck away from them. I mean, they're still much kinder than a Western woman. As a matter of fact, they're much kinder than a Western woman who lives here, even, right? So I don't mind. Like, if I see a westernized Thai woman, for sure, like tattoos, whole outfit or whatever, I would still open a door for her here, because she will still absolutely say thank you like this. Um, yeah. So now that's going to be changing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not delusional. This is going to be changing. But second category are Thai women who don't speak English but got westernized in other ways, right? They can come from high families, high society families, and rich. We have rich people here, like you guys will, that you guys don't even have there in America sometimes, especially here in Bangkok. Bangkok has a lot of very rich families. It is amazing. Like, I live in an apartment complex where we have a garage. So I don't know. We have a like closed like vending machine garage. So you, like, if you want to park your car, you drive it into the stall and then you leave, and it will vending machine park your car for you. It's a very bougie place. So, but the cars that I just see parked outside, because we don't always have enough spots, or that sometimes people come and go really quick. We have Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Rolls Royces, 7 Series BMWs, S Class, EQSs, and all of that stuff, and Lotus. We have what I just saw. I forget that, but I mean, we have, this is a very rich city, right? So the girls who grew up in those type of families, they're definitely very still, and they don't have to be rich. Some women just got westernized, by some content here that's here already, that's that westernizes women. And then the third category, and that's the only type of women I date really, are Thai women who are still, they don't speak English, and they're still very much traditional, still very much family oriented, and those are the type of girls you want to go after. So I don't like I don't see problems with Thai women. If anything, I'd take Thai women over pretty much any type of Western women anytime. And you know what? Every single man pretty much does here as well. In over 2 years of living here and being very active, I go out all the time. And I also sit in the middle of a busy mall every day when I work on my laptop. So I see a lot of people. I only know two Western women who came here single and found husbands here, you know, because pretty much no Thai or another Western man who lives here want a Western woman, no matter how good looking she is. I mean, we have tons of good looking Western women here. We just don't want them. We don't take them seriously. Like, yeah, guys will try to get into their pants or whatever, but at the end of the day, nobody wants to marry them. Nobody dates them seriously. And you can see these women complaining online all the time. As a matter of fact, I just did a reaction video to a podcast with four Western women who sat there and bitched about how nobody wants them here for like, you know 2 hours. And two of them, and this is another thing that happens a lot here, is when a Western couple comes here, right, and a husband sees what, like, he makes some friends, he gets to know, and all of a sudden he realizes how Thai women are treating his friends, and then he compares it to what he brought in. They divorced those women. There's tons of women who got divorced after coming here, which is kind of stupid. These women really should know better, because this is not a country for them to compete. They cannot compete with Thai women. So generally speaking, Tony, unless you want to clarify, uh, and I guess you did, you say that you're talking about girls speaking with a mouth full of food. I have not noticed that problem here. That's more than anywhere else, but I got to tell you, this is the first time I'm hearing it. Okay, let me take another really quick question before we go, because I think it's a little bit on topic here. How is dating the province in provinces of Chiang Mai, Songkhla, and Koh Phangan? Is it similar to Bangkok or more touristy? So I have not been to all of those. One of the girls I'm seeing right now is from Songkhla. Now I would not recommend actually going there. That area does have some military conflicts because it's closer to the border. So I mean, not that much, but still, it's pretty remote. I never heard of Koh Phangan. I know it's an island because Koh in Thai is island. In Chiang Mai, I've been to Chiang Mai, and I've actually known one of the men. So, because I provide consulting services to men who come here or any other country, and just kind of walk them through, in addition to taking my course, which is in my bio, that I think every man should take, at least to know what your options are. Um, I so I go to other provinces, right? I mean, we have other provinces around Bangkok, like Pathum Thani, Chachansao, Kinchanaburi, Rayon. So I go to those provinces. Now, here's an interesting part of those provinces. It doesn't really matter anymore, because, and I was also in Africa, in the remote village. I visited remote villages there in remote areas. Here's the bottom line, okay? And this is the answer to this question. It doesn't matter which remote area a girl lives in. If she has a Wi-Fi connection and a smartphone, which most of them do, like, they can live in a mud hut, right? They can live in the slums, and that's where I've gone to Africa and Kenya, and they still would have a smartphone and a Wi-Fi connection. Okay, um, so it doesn't matter, because as soon as they turn it on and get on Instagram and dating apps, there will be a bunch of American and Western simps giving them compliments, attention, validation, and they will send them money. So without, like, these girls get turned into hoes real quick, but this is the best hoe jobs you will ever have, because you don't have to actually suck things in order to get the money anymore, right? These poor hookers here in Nana Plaza, they have to actually perform acts to earn their money, right? Where these girls in remote villages, because these guys never visit them, right? They talk about it or whatever. They might visit for a week or two, but essentially they just give them money because they see the pretty picture on their screen. That's it, right? That's kind of like OnlyFans, improvised, if you will. So it doesn't matter where the girl lives. In province. Like I remember going to the province of Patumtani with my friend, and that time I didn't speak any Thai at all, and I wanted to get my toenails cut, and I, we're speaking to a girl, and she's pretty cute. She was like very cute girl in the province, and my friends started talking to her in Thai because my friends speak Thai, right? As a matter of fact, if you're not learning Thai at least, and you're a foreigner here, we're not going to be friends. So you have to like and participate in Thai culture for me to be friends with you here. So I went and he asked her if she was single. She said, "No, I have a boyfriend." He said, "Oh wow, where's your boyfriend?" And she's like, "Oh, like in Kansas City." "Oh, American boyfriend? Yeah. Have you ever met him?" "Oh no, we've been dating for 2 years, and we know what that means, right? She'll show him some boob, he'll send her some money. The family members get sick all the time, motorbikes get broken all the time, right? So, and because there are so many pathetic men in America and other places in the world who will sit there, pretend like this is a relationship, even though you can have a better conversation with the Chat GPT or any AI agent. And I'm not kidding. Go talk to Chat GPT about your problems, and then try to talk to whoever girl you're seeing about the same problem. See who will be nicer to you. So, and then these dudes just send the money. It's that sad. We're asking why this is happening. This is why. It's because of us men. Well, I shouldn't say men, simps, a lot of American and Western men, and that has to change. So going to a province doesn't help. Another thing I will tell you, to finish up answering this question, is a lot of these good-looking women in provinces who are appealing to foreigners, right? They end up coming to Bangkok, right? Because, like, yeah, I understand I can earn more money, either old-fashioned way, right, as hookers here, or just being cute hostesses at the restaurants. The restaurants will hire in touristy area to attract foreigners. You pay this hostess a little bit more, but she will get you so much more business of these dudes who are fucking simps and pathetic, spineless losers who are like, "Oh, pretty girl, I'm gonna eat here." Dude, have you looked at the fucking menu? Do you like that food, or just because a pretty girl say, "Oh yeah, handsome"? "Oh, okay, what do you want me to do now?" Right? "Oh, eat here." "Okay." "Spend 3 times as much as this food is worth 3 blocks away." "Oh, okay." Right? So they know that these jobs are for them, and they'll come here. And then on top of that, because they have to deal with foreigners, they will learn English, and then they'll get corrupted all the way. So that's just how it works. If you go to provinces, one, you have less good looking women here, and two, because those women who are there, very family oriented, a lot of them already snatched up by Thai guys, right? Like here I can go outside and see like 100 single women in within a minute. And I'm not even lying, by the way. I live in a busy area, but still, in the provinces, you'll see a lot of cute girls, but they already have husbands or boyfriends because they're family oriented, and they understand that their best years to attract a man is in their 20s, not in their 40s when they have a career, like a lot of women like this, right? So hopefully that answers your question. But let's get back to her video because it is getting interesting.
I had a question for the men because I see it all the time in my comments. Most of my comments are filled with guys saying we're done. We're not looking. We like our peace. I need some more talk from you guys. Tell me why you're done. Tell me why you don't want to have a partner in life. Tell me why it's more worth it to be single than to have a partner. Even
So before she continues, it's not that this man, and I speak for myself when I was still in America, it's not that we don't want a partner. We all want a partner, trust us. Like even the most singles of the men, which I guess as I am now, right? Because my lifestyle as a single guy here in Bangkok, Thailand, is so amazing. Getting married is no longer my only goal and path to happiness. I've already arrived at my happiness. If I meet an amazing girl who I would want to marry, I will absolutely do that. But even someone like me, of course I would like to have a partner. It's not that. It's the second part of it that she mentioned, is that it's just in America wasn't worth it anymore. You have to understand that men like me who come to time, because what you see is a lot of these stupid videos that these dudes post saying like, "Oh, look how cheap it is here, and it's great, and the weather, and all the women, look at these bitch," and you guys think that this is just like great. It is great, but don't forget, like in my case, I had to leave my parents, I have to leave my friends and and acquaintances. I have to leave the culture and the language that I know how to speak, and all of the amazing places and routines that I've had, right? And I had to get up and by myself just be kind of like move to another country and figure everything out myself while still providing for myself and taking care of my health and all of that stuff, right? Which I have done successfully. But it is not easy, right? I still miss my family and friends. I haven't seen my mother in over 2 years. So I haven't seen some of my friends over 2 years that I used to just hang out in their kitchen every weekend. So it's not an easy thing for a man to do, and yet we'd rather do that than stay in America and deal with American women in two different ways, right? One is dating. And like I mentioned before, it's no secret that what women have to offer in America is just not worth the all the effort and requirements you have to satisfy in order to get them. And again, if you have any brain cells and you specifically absolutely need to get laid, there are sugar babies, there are other ways how you can figure that out with a business contract, right? So, and of course, getting married in America makes no sense whatsoever. It's the dumbest decisions you can make, even with a prenup. Like, if you are going to go in a dumb path of getting married, you must have a prenup, a good one, and the one that she does not challenge. If a woman challenges a prenup, she can go fuck herself, right? Like I just did a video about Jeff Bezos, right? I don't know if you guys know, Jeff Bezos decided to get married because giving out half of his fortune, which ended up being the largest divorce settlement in the world's history, did not deter him to go and get married again. Now, this time he got a little bit smarter and he got a prenup. However, I don't know if you know, but Jeff Bezos' wedding was delayed by a year. You know why it was delayed by a year? Because his now wife has been fighting the prenup so hard that it took a year to get her to agree. And by the way, whatever prenup, whatever conditions that Jeff Bezos offered to his future wife in case of a divorce is more money that you can count. And Nitbedge, by the way, already got a bunch of money from her previous divorce with no prenup because she got money from another rich guy that she married, right? So she's essentially a professional subscription prostitute, and Jeff Bezos went for it anyway. So you cannot get married in America. So it is just not worth it. And some men, and unfortunately, one of my best friends is one of those men, he basically said, yeah, listen, I just can't. I don't want to deal with it. I have too much respect for myself. I don't want to waste my time and money on women because let me tell you what happens a lot. And by the way, this happens to me even here in Thailand now, and to a lot of my friends here, right? You invest your time because my time and a lot of time of my friends is money, right? If I spend 1 hour on dating apps or talking to a girl at a coffee shop, like that's an hour I could be earning money, right? So every hour that I have, a lot of men have is like, especially with services like Uber and others, where you can literally earn money either online or in person if you have the extra time. So every time a man invests into starting a conversation or looking for a girl or going out with her, he is sacrificing some of his income. And on top of that, a lot of times you pay for the date, right? So a lot of times you start talking to a girl, you might talk for 1 or 2 days, invest the time, get into it, and get your hopes up, right? A lot of guys get their hopes up. You shouldn't. And then a girl ghosts you or disappears or doesn't show up to a date or ghosts you right before the date or right after the date, right? That is the most common outcome for dating for most of the men, right? A girl ghosting, a girl not showing up to a date. And now, by the way, I do count not showing up is if a girl is more than 15 minutes late. A self-respecting man would not wait for a girl unless she let him know ahead of time. There's some exceptions. Um, and she didn't let you, and she's running 10, again, 15 minutes, 10 minutes late, you leave. That's it. And that is count, it should count as no show. Um, that's the most that's an outcome for the first date that the guy has to work the hardest for, right? To find a girl, to ask her out, to prep the date, to go. So even the first dates are not worth it. And I got to tell you, I'm here a lot of times. I do not like my first date is this. I'll talk to a girl a little bit to make sure she is halfway sane at least, and remove some of the red flags. But I feel like, as soon, like, I don't want to waste my time talking to her online. So if she hasn't ghosted me in 1 or 2 days, I invite her to for a drink, not dinner, drink. My budget here is 100 baht, which is $3. That's enough for a drink, cup of coffee, even an alcoholic drink, no problem. But that's it. And I invite him and I give him 3 days, right? I'll usually ask, like, well, what are you doing tomorrow night? And if she says, well, nothing, I said, why don't we grab a drink, right? And then if she says, no, I'm busy, like yesterday, the girl said, well, I don't go out on weeknights. And I said, well, even if it's to meet a guy who could be potentially your husband, she's like, yeah. I said, okay, goodbye. Good luck with the cats and the antidepressants. But a lot of you suckers still go like, okay, well, where would you like to go? Oh, you only available on weekends? Then okay, sure, I will make time, right? That's the problem. Those type of men, if you ever bend it over backwards for a girl for a schedule, when you are the one inviting for the day that you're gonna pay for, you're a fucking pathetic loser and part of the problem. You deserve all the female problems you're having. And I'm speaking to majority of Western and American men in particular. Don't do that. Yesterday I told her, okay, well, good luck to you. I don't date women who put me on their weekend schedule, like I'm in their golf lessons or something like that. I'm a good man. If you didn't recognize it after our conversations, looking at my profile, looking at my social media, you still don't think that I'm a good man and good enough for you to roll out of bed at 7 p.m. on a Thursday night, you can fuck off. I'd rather not deal with that woman. And that really is the answer, right? There are more and more men who are finding self-respect, who decided to stop to simp, and we basically rejected this woman who's been single for a while now, and she's getting closer to 30, which a lot of women don't realize how big of a problem it is. They don't realize it anymore. It used to be a common thing. If you're single and you to go into your 30s, you got a big problem. But nowadays, girls don't think it is. In the end, the antidepressants will be enough for everybody. So in this case, but a lot of you guys don't do that. A lot of you guys don't reject this women, but a lot of you now do. And by the way, it doesn't take that many good men to walk away for women to notice, right? There's a bunch of losers and simps and all of that stuff. Women don't want you anyway, so if you disappear, they don't care. They shouldn't care. Again, if you go to themillionmanproject.com, where I tell you how you can actually get where I'm at and move yourself to the culture where men like you are wanted. The number one module there, and you can go there, and the table of contents is very much free. You can see that the first, I explained to you what a good traditional woman is, since a lot of you don't know. But the second point is that you need to improve yourself as a man, and most importantly, stop simping, gain some self-respect, and draw some boundaries before you can come here. Because I've already done live streams, if you followed me for even a little bit, where a Western man comes to Thailand and brings his loser self here, and he ends up broke, divorced, taken advantage of, and hating Thai women at the end of the day, because he's done exactly the same thing with exactly same shitty simpy personality that he had in America or Britain or Australia. So you have to improve yourself, and a lot of you guys don't think that it's an important step, but it is. um, let's see. Let me go a little bit further, and then I'll answer some of the questions in the live chat. Then thank you guys for participating. I appreciate it.
Even if you weren't to remarry, just to have a partner. I mean, I've talked to a lot of men. I've got my answers, but I want to hear it in the comments. So please drop it in the comments.
All right. So if you look at the comment section, a lot of men is just essentially saying the same thing. I like my peace. That's a lot of women don't even know that, what they bring to the table are mainly two things: their beauty and youth, and peace, right? If you ask a woman, what does a man want? They don't, Western woman, they don't realize that it's the peace. And that's what we're walking away from, at least you guys. And kudos to you guys walking away. Like I said, it doesn't take that many men that are good men to walk away. I would say the percentage of like good marriable men, I would say, is, I don't know, maybe like 30%. Would you like agree? There's no survey for that, I don't think. But let's say 30%, right? So if 15% of men walk away, all men will walk away, that's half of those good men that are women are going for, and they're going to notice, right? It doesn't take that much because women are specifically worried about the pool of good men, high value men shrinking. Now, of course, a lot of Western women don't know what a good man is anymore, but they have still some clues, and they can definitely see that just the numbers, right? The numbers of men who don't open doors, for example. There's tons of videos on TikTok. They're saying, "What happened to men? The men are now shutting the doors in my face, and they used to open the door for me." Uh, that is noticeable thing, right? Like I don't open doors for Western women here at all, but I do for Thai women because it is an amazing exchange of masculine and feminine energy here. But I see a Western woman, open your own fucking door, bitch. I couldn't fucking care less because I know she's gonna walk through entitled, wouldn't even notice me as a human being, and of course not say thank you. Now, I already made videos where if you decided for some reason still open a door to a Western woman and she doesn't say thank you, you call her a cunt immediately. That should be a protocol. Absolutely call her out in public for being an entitled little cunt, which most of them are. You don't believe me? Go ahead and make your own. If you haven't been opening doors for women, go ahead. We'll see how that's going to go for you. I don't. This is why it's so hard to explain. It's not just the fact that you have access to amazing women all the time, not to screw them or marry them or whatever, just that they're around. The feminine energy is around, right? But it's also being away from toxic narcissistic energy of modern women. That itself, being away from those women, is just so refreshing. I mean, why don't you guys come here? And this is I keep shamelessly plugging my course here, but which I will do right now, the millionmanproject.com. But you know, part of that is come here for just 2 weeks and don't be a fucking tourist, okay? Don't go to Sukhumvit here in Bangkok. Go to like a regular neighborhood and eat regular Thai food. Just keep walking away from your hotel until you stop seeing other people like you, foreigners, right? Until everybody around you or Thai or whatever other countries you want to go to, right? And then just observe. And of course, turn your dating apps on just so you know how many matches and ridiculous amount of women will immediately try to match with you, right? Women whose profiles say that I know how to cook and clean and give massages rather than, oh, I need my own space and I already have a dog and a cat and I travel, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, just the gap is just come here and you guys won't even need to be convinced anymore. A lot of guys come here and they get so culture shocked here in a good way, where they're like, whoa, wait, what? This is possible, and they just never leave. They're like, we will figure this out. Now, that's not a responsible way to move here. This is why half of my course is actually teaching you how to wind down your life in America or Great Britain, or Australia, and then move here and build your new life, because you can make a lot of bad mistakes that will just cost you money. You know, um, like when I sell my course, my thing, my website says, my courses, the price of my course, and I make sure that everybody knows that divorce is much more expensive than my course for sure. So, all right, let me pick up a couple more comments because we're going to switch to her last video. Let me switch to that. Which is a very interesting solution that some women have to this problem, as more and more of them are noticing that men are walking away. All right, so are American women from all states in USA bad? I thought women from red states were a bit better than from blue states. Well, so let's not call them bad, right? Because these women are still good doctors and good lawyers, and even good friends in some cases. My best friend here in Thailand is a westernized Thai woman, right? So these are not bad women. Women with tattoos are not bad women. They're just not marriage and girlfriend material, right? So they're bad to date. But let's not evilize them somehow. Yes, a lot of them are horrible human beings because their entitlement as a woman, romantically and just generally speaking in American culture, has made them horrible human beings. There's tons of them. But let's not put them all in just categories just because they have vaginas. That's exactly what we're fighting against, right? So they're no longer wives. Now, yes, there is a distinction. Obviously, a liberal woman in California, where I lived for most of my life, is less likely to be kind and feminine than a woman in Oklahoma or Texas, another, right? And I can tell you this, the reason I'm saying Oklahoma and Texas, because before leaving America, and one of my smarter friends, all my friends are smart, but a boss chick female friend that I had, no longer, unfortunately, and she didn't die. She's just dead to me. She said, well, before you leave United States, since, you don't want to go through this big culture shock, why don't you first leave California and just travel throughout America and see if there are other better spots for you first? Because the culture is closer, your shit is already here anyway. We don't want to lose you as a friend, where you're going to be in another other part of the world. And I said, yeah. So I went to all of those places, right? And in Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, Oklahoma, Texas. I ended up settling in Texas, in Houston. Absolutely love Houston. And yes, generally speaking, women there are kinder, but not kinder enough. And again, it's not, nothing is moving in the right direction. Even here in Thailand, I see how things are moving in the wrong direction, little by little by little, right? This is why I won't only date Thai women who don't speak English, because it's unlikely they will ever speak English. And if they don't speak English, they are unlikely to get infected anytime soon with the Western culture and get completely destroyed. Um, so yes, in red states, in smaller cities, you will find women who are kinder, more feminine, but it is just not good enough. I ended up leaving even out of Texas, even after visiting Oklahoma, knowing that I still could have kept going to Missouri, what is it, Tennessee, all the way to Georgia. Like I said, I love black women, and like, Atlanta was going to be my mecca. But like, as you guys know, I just went to the bigger Mecca for men who love black women, which was Kenya, and that was a disaster. So yes, I agree with you. There is a distinction. So if you cannot move out of America, at least not yet, you should all start working towards getting out of there. And that's why I have my course. And I, the part of my course is where I suggest where what men need to do in order to get income that they can use outside of America, right? It's a location independent income, and how little I break down how little of income you need to have in order to live here. Now, you can live here at $1,000 American. Now, is it going to be an amazing, like, bougie life? No, but it's going to be a pretty decent life. You're going to have your own apartment. It's going to be small. It's not going to have Face ID on it or smart locks or, but it's going to be a decent apartment. You're not going to eat at French restaurants or drive a Mercedes, but for $1,000 American, you can live here. So if you can, and I teach you how you can make $1,000 American that's location independent, you should. Now, some men actually, what they do is, as a compromise for now, they go to America during, let's say, whatever summer months, right? They work there, usually in the states where there's no personal income, where you can maximize your income, and they earn the extra 20, 30,000 dollars in those 3 months in America. And then they come back to Thailand or whatever, Philippines, Cambodia. You can definitely live pretty well on $1,000 in Cambodia or Laos. And then they live for 9 months there. And then so essentially it's kind of like seasonal jobs that they get. Now, that is a possible solution, but to me, it's not that hard to make $1,000 a month online. You can be an English teacher. You can be a math tutor for children. There's a lot of ways how you can make $1,000 online and be location independent and come here and live this much, much, much more free and amazing life with many choices in women. Never have to worry about sex ever again. And that's why I think you should do it. All right. Let's take another quick question. Tony says, I agree that learning Thai is essential to get an attractive Thai woman. I'll get back to that. But then you still have to deal with her bad habits. Well, don't date women with bad habits, right? There's plenty of women who don't have bad habits. And again, what are these bad habits? Like, some of the habits are easily curbed, easily taught, right? And some bad habits are completely unacceptable and usually goes to the character of a woman, essentially creating one big red flag and a deal breaker. Now, here's the thing about dating attractive Thai women. I'm going to go and generalize it. If you want a girl who is an 8 or 9 or a 10, I'm sorry, unless you're going to specifically marry or date what I call a subscription prostitute, it's not going to happen for you. I don't care how good looking you are. I don't care how rich you are. Women who are 8 and above, with very few exceptions, very few, so don't worry about it, right? Even here, are no longer women who will love you for who you are, right? If you make decent salary but you're not rich, and if you're handsome but not hot, it doesn't matter. Like they will only respond to dropping lots of cash on them, and a lot of times it's not their fault. A lot of times it's because so many simps for so many years at this point have handed over cash to them. They don't even understand what a man is talking about unless he's consistently throwing money at her. I think it's not even their fault, because that's how they have always experienced men, consistently receiving money, cash from these men. So your best bet, if you want to date a really hot woman or really good looking woman, is essentially what I'm doing. Look for a 6 or 7 that's upgradable, right? Because there's a lot of girls here don't know how to do makeup, don't know how to do the hair, they don't really know to go to the gym and all of that stuff. And a lot of times I see a girl goes like, she's like 6.5, right? But you sign her up with a gym, you teach her how to do makeup a little bit, put some, style her hair a little bit, get her a little bit better, classier clothes. There's an 8 right there, and that's the only way how you can get an attractive woman. You would have to find a relatively, maybe above average attractive girl and upgrade her. However, I also see a lot of men here, and we already done a video about that, is that if you come here to Thailand or many of these places, you will see a pretty decent, good looking guy, handsome, got some money, and he would be walking around with a very average looking Thai girl dressed in mom jeans and Crocs, and sometimes just flat out just ugly girl. On a daily basis, I see that. And at first I was like, what's going on? Right? There's like, what the hell is happening? Here's the thing. A lot of guys just settle for a good wife, a kind girl who gives you peace and cooks for you and gives you massages, never troubled, supportive, kind, all of that stuff. And they'd rather just date an average girl. And you know what? I totally understand them. It's not particular for me, but a lot of guys goes like, yeah, no, she's not a beauty queen, but she's cute to me. Now I still think these guys should grow some balls, and this is the problem with a lot of foreigners who come here. They forgot their balls, in America, because they've lost them a long time ago, and they don't even know between which cushions in their couches they're at anymore, which ex-girlfriend's purse they're at. And so, but because a man should be able to say, honey, you need to lose some weight. You need to tone up that booty or legs. I'm sorry, but like, you got to do it, right? It's not like and sorry, once in a while, here's a curling iron, then here's how to use it. Then here's some fake eyelashes or some blush. Pretty yourself up once in a while, and let's burn those mom jeans and Crocs. I don't want to be walking around with a girl who looks like a homeless 5-year-old boy. Okay, look more. But these guys don't have balls to say that, right? But a real man would, and that's what I'm teaching in where anybody who would want to listen. And I think there should be a lot of you. But red pilling a Western man is a problem. As I told you guys, I do consulting where I consult one-on-one when a man wants to come here, already came here, not necessarily to Bangkok or even Thailand, and I mentor them through it. And I got to tell you, it is extremely hard to convince a man to gain just self-respect and to stop simping. It is so hard, even here, when a man is already here, already made that leap of faith and got through the hardest part of actually moving, and just cannot stop simping. All right, let's get this video out of the way.
The first move. If anyone wants to be in a relationship, that's absolutely what has to happen. It just has to happen. Guys, in the comments, back me up on this. We have told men for years that their masculinity is toxic. Some men, as they got interested in dating, that's literally all they know, is to stay away from women, is to not bother them, and definitely don't approach them. So
Yeah, so she's hitting on the previous video of hers is that, men are walking away by just not approaching women. It's not a pleasant experience in general in with Western women. Like here in Thailand, I can get rejected by a girl in my face and have a pleasant experience. She will do it in such a kind way. I'll be like, oh, thank you for rejecting me. It made my day, right? Where in approaching a Western woman, where she can literally just like ignore you as a human being and turn away. Like, tell me in the comment section or in the live chat if you're watching this live, how many times or has it ever happened to you? I guarantee you that every single one of you who is single, who's approached a woman somewhere in the last 5 years, have had it where a woman will acknowledge you for a second and just turn away and would not even bother speaking to you, right? So, like men like me, again, especially here where I have choices, if that ever happens, I don't give a shit, right? Like she disappears very quickly as well. But men who muster up a courage to do it once a year and have this type of experience, yeah, I don't want to do it anymore, right? They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it at a gym because someone's running a camera and going to call you a creep. They don't want to do it in a coffee shop because a lot of girls have their earbuds and their fucking phones and they don't even look like they want to be approached. It's an unpleasant experience. So a lot of men decided like, yeah, you know what? I'm good. And I feel the same way a lot of times, even here, right? There's plenty of girls walking around with earbuds on the phones, and I'm like, she's beautiful, but I'm not approaching her. She's just like so unapproachable. It's not going to be a good experience for me. I'm for fuck it. You know what I mean? And that goes for a lot of men. So a lot of men are just don't want to approach women, and I understand.
There is nothing wrong with a woman approaching a man. That
So this is where I disagree with her. Listen, men need to be more men, not less men. This is the whole point. The reason we're here, guys, is because most American men and Western men are not really men anymore. You're simps, you're pushovers, you have no self-respect, you let women disrespect you on a daily basis within and outside of romantic and sexual relationships, and you allow disrespect all the time. Men need to be more men. Oh, and by the way, stop fucking crying, especially on camera. It's fucking disgusting. Men need to be more men. So yes, part of being a man is approaching a woman. As a matter of fact, if you want a traditional woman, one, she will never approach a man in her life because she's a traditional woman. Secondly, in order for her to get attracted to you, you need to show some confidence and some balls, and that requires, as a number one step, to approach her, right? If you can't even approach her, then she doesn't want you. Now we're talking about traditional women, of course, right? So no, you need to be a man, you need to approach women. Absolutely disagree. The response to the women's behavior, undateable and unfuckable women behavior, which most American and Western women are nowadays, is to not be less of a man. Now I understand that a lot of women feel this way, where it's like, shit, I'm not being approached. So what am I supposed to do? I might go ahead and approach a guy. Okay. Well, the reality is in between, right? The reality is that don't approach man because, again, it's his job, but make yourself more available. Get your earbuds out of your fucking ears. Get your face out of your iPod or iPad or iPhone or whatever, right? Smile, look at men and smile. There's a video that I broke down a few months ago where a girl says, listen, all you have to do is to pay attention to men you like and find attractive around you. Go to the places where you would want your man to be, and not the places where you don't want them to be. Don't go to a nightclub, right? Or a cigar store, even, or cigarette store to look for your man. Go to a coffee shop or an art gallery, right? Or classical music concert, and smile at a man you like. That's it. He will come to you. And this is how I operate. I have no problems approaching a girl as long as we have some sort of a connection where I look at her, she looked at me, we smiled at each other. Then I feel comfortable coming up. But if I can't catch a girl's eye, or if I catch her eye and she just no, I'm not going to approach you. So women can just get there half of the way, right? Get to the places where good men are, dress up a little, right? Put on some heels. Don't dress like a hoe though. The and then just smile. That is it. Your fucking jobs are so fucking easy, it's ridiculous, including the fact, like, don't get a career. Be a good woman, and you will be rewarded with more money than your career can ever bring. So and that's all. So I disagree with her, but let her make her point.
That shows confidence. And you know what? I don't even know if this stat is true. I didn't do much research into this, but I did see that 86% of women who make the first move end up married.
All right, that's kind of bullshit, and it's funny how this is such a women thing to do, and generally speaking Western thing to do. Well, I don't know the science behind it, I don't have any numbers, but I'm going to say this anyway because I feel this way. Well, fucking go chat GPT shit, go Google shit, prepare. I mean, this is not a live video she's making, go look it up. The numbers that she gave just don't sound right. Women who make a first move end up marrying those guys. That sounds ridiculous. So, yeah, sorry, it's just ridiculous. But come on, prepare for your fucking video.
So, I mean, come on, that's pretty good. I mean, I don't even care if that's not even a true statistic. Hell, let's run with that.
But a typical women thing is, I don't care if it's true. I don't care if it's reality. I feel this way. Sounds good to me. So I'm going to make it a reality. Can this be any more of an answer to her own question about why men don't want to date women anymore and walking away? Because women are operating in this delusional world where, like, yeah, no, we know we're delusional, but this is so nice here. And all these simps are making it like it is reality. And yeah, why don't we ever leave? And don't forget, that's the delusional reality that a lot of American men have agreed to become a part of, and therefore being Sims. And this is why this movement is called the Red Pill. Get the fuck out of this delusional universe that these women created for you dudes. Come back. It's nice here.
But guys, back me up in the comments. Say, yeah, you would love that. Or women say, yeah, I made the first move and I'm now engaged, married, whatever.
By the way, I don't mind a first move, and I think this is where women actually should make a move. I think the exception if the girl just wants to get laid, right? If a girl just wants sex, coming up to a guy saying, "Listen, I'm not really like into relate right now. I just want to get laid. Are you up for it?" Right? That would be great. Actually, that I feel like that's okay. That's honest. And I have to say that dating black women in America, one of the perks has always been I felt like black women in America were much more honest about their sexual needs. You know, um, like for example, if you meet a girl at the club, right, which again used to be a okay thing to do, not okay nowadays, but back in the day when I was a little boy, you meet a girl at the club, start dancing, and it's cool. I dance better than this, but and it's kind of face to face, a little bit of a distance or whatever. But when you meet a black girl in a club, especially a black club, the way she dances with you right away, she'll turn around and wrap her booty right into you. And that's not even considered to be like sexually advanced or whatever. That's just how they are. That's how, and I loved it. I absolutely fucking loved it. So uh, that's one thing that I would say is an exception. If a girl just wants to get laid, actually, one of my female friends here, I wouldn't say friends, we do business together, but we kind of got friendly. She's much younger than me, and I kind of tried to mentor her, and she wants to approach this one guy who's in her life, and she right now just wants sex, right? And normally I would say, hey, listen, you need to find an alpha male. If you want a relationship, he needs to approach you. You just need to give him the right signals, but in this case, I said, yeah, unless it's someone who you are afraid of losing out of your life by proposing any type of romantic or sexual connection, if you just want to bang him, just tell him. Just tell him. And that's it. Just tell him. So that would be an exception, okay?
I'm telling you, that's just the way it's got to be. You don't have to like it. I mean, I'm sure guys didn't like when they were being called, when their masculinity, when their whole being it was called toxic. They didn't like that. So start making the first move. And again,
interesting. Yeah, listen, I love the fact that women are now feeling the pain, they feeling the burn of good men walking away, having less choices, men standing up for themselves. Not enough. This is not enough, guys. Even here in Thailand, when I stand up to women, which has to happen all the time, right? Oh, you lying running 10, 15 minutes, late to a date and didn't let me know. You're going to spend an hour in traffic and you're going to come back to an empty chair. And you're going to be all upset. How did I get? And they're upset. How dare you? Why didn't you let me know you left? Oh, really? You wanted me to save you time by letting you know that I'm gone, but you didn't bother saving me time by letting me know that you're running late? Nope. And pay for your own taxi back too, on top of that, right? The reason these women are just absolutely amazed and shocked and angry at me, because it doesn't happen very often. They're not being put in their place very often. They're not being called out on their bullshit, because even here, when American and Western men come here to Thailand, they continue to simp. They have no idea that they should have some self-respect and stand up for themselves. So yeah, I love the fact that the revolution has started, but we're too far away right now.
You don't have to like it. You don't have to like having to make the first move. You could still have a traditional relationship after that. This is just getting you in a damn relationship. And as far as, not liking things, I do things every day that I don't like to do, but it makes me a better person, gets me to my goals. So these are just facts, okay?
This is a very masculine way of thinking. And as you can see, she's a typical Western female, which with a little bit of less delusion than most, but it's a very masculine but good way of thinking about life, right? Like, there are a lot of things that we do, especially as men, that we don't like on daily basis, just to survive or to make our lives better, and we do them. And it's interesting that women have put themselves in this situation, and this is going to get worse for them, where they're now more and more going like, why aren't men approaching us now? Unfortunately, a lot of them still think that, like, oh, I'm in my 40s, I still have time, right? And even in my 30s, I definitely have some time. That's not true. And by the time they realize that it's not true, it's really too late. But it doesn't help the reality right now. It doesn't help the dating scene right now. So, but it looks like the needle has moved. Um, so, all right, let me take a few more questions from the chat. And again, thank you for participating. Before I do that, by the way, let me remind you about I've worked on this course for 3 months full time to make sure it's the most comprehensive course for you guys if you want to at least know what it takes to move to another country to have a much better sex and dating life. And again, you don't even have to get married here. You can have so many different choices of a lifestyle that you would have with women here, that it will be amazing. So let me just give you one more reminder, okay? If you want to ditch modern women and move abroad for more traditional relationships, go to themillionmanproject.com, take my most comprehensive course, and change your. I probably forgot to tell you that I'm also having a sale. Okay. All right, let's get to the next question. How do you perceive Thailand about 10 years in the future? Will it still remain the tradition country by then, or will it already be consumed by the Western degeneracy? You know, what I've learned in my almost 50 years is that predicting future is worth nothing, right? Like, you wake up a man from a coma who fell in the coma 10 years ago, and you tell him that, like, so it would be like what? George W. Bush would be president, right? Who would be president, right? But and for 15 years, right? You will say, guess what? We had a black president in America, and then we have Donald Trump as a president in America, right? Like, could you have predicted that? Either one of those two things? No. And we're talking about 10, 20 years ago, right? It is impossible to predict. I think it is reasonable to expect. Why don't I put it this way? I don't want to predict. It will be reasonable to expect that, yes, Thailand, just like every culture, will fall to an American culture. The question is, what will change at the same time? Because you're just assuming everything will go the same way. No, there are two factors that are going to be different. And I think three. One is, and this is an easy one, the childbirth rates are falling everywhere. So the governments will start adjusting with the way they have laws, right? I expect marriage laws to change, alimony laws to change. I expect child support laws to change. And I expect the culture to change overall towards men as at very least sperm donors, because every government will be concerned with the falling population like they are in Japan right now, because no one's fucking there. If you've ever been to Japan, you're like, yep, these women are non-fuckable and undateable, and I wouldn't either. So, and this is happening all over the world, including here in Thailand. It is also starting to be a concern. So that would be one change. Number two change is exactly what we've been talking about pretty much throughout more than an hour now in this live stream, where enough good men leave, where and enough women who won't fall all the way to the delusion of, because a lot of them basically think that they really don't need no man. The cat is or a dog is good enough. There will still be women who will be either horny enough or lonely enough to say, whoa, 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 wait a second. I want a man. I want a man. Fuck those bitches, Beyonce and Taylor Swift, who are telling us I don't need no man while they're actually shacking up with one. No. I want a man. Okay, a lot of them left, but what can I do to bring them back? There's a lot of these videos are from women who are saying, well, what can we do to bring good men back? Right. And we have an absolutely a very, very, precise list of things that we want. So that's another thing that will probably start changing, is women will just have to change, right? But the third one, and I've talked about this before, and I will talk about it probably in more, is, and I mentioned this already by accident during this live stream, right? If you share a concern, even a health concern or some concern, with your wife or your girlfriend or a female in your life, just by message, let's just send her saying, like, and then send the same concern to ChatGPT. I guarantee you that most of the time, more than half of the time at the very least, ChatGPT will be kinder and more empathetic to you than your own girlfriend, your own wife. Try it. So AI is going to be here very soon, which will be combined with robotics. At first, what I think is going to happen is like OnlyFans and long distance relationships are going to be replaced with services that are almost here. Like this is almost here, where you'll come to the website. It will cost you, let's say, $100 a month. Okay, it'll say create your own girlfriend. Okay, she can look whatever. Like you literally create your own girlfriend. You know, and then they're like, okay, this is your now digital girlfriend, and tell what you like, what you don't like. We're talking about in terms of, well, I like a submissive girl who speaks quietly, who doesn't argue, who is agreeable. You can say that, and then you say, but I want her to be a whore in bed, and I want her to do this and this, and you know what I mean. So, and then she will become one, and yes, it is a virtual interaction, but you can have conversations with this virtual girlfriend every day. She will learn more about you as the AI will, right? And as far as your emotional needs and some your sexual needs, right? Because a lot of guys, they go to OnlyFans or Pornhub, and that's how then they do it themselves. But you will have an amazing long distance relationship girlfriend and an unlimited porn star in your life, and it will cost you like 100. Most guys will settle for just that. Now on top of that, and I believe in 10 years that will probably be relatively possible for the robotics to reach a level, and there's some sex dolls nowadays, they're not great, but they're getting there, where honestly women will be replaced as far as sex providers almost fully. And that's, and because again, you guys can believe me or not, but I believe that most Western women don't have anything to offer besides sex. And so when they're replaced with much nicer and cheaper alternatives, which will be these AI realistic female bots, women they will be completely abandoned as romantic and sexual beings, and some of them will die off into the cat heavens. But some will decide that no, I want to change. You know what I mean? And that's what's going to happen in 10 years. So as Thailand and other countries like Thailand start succumbing to the Western culture, the Western culture itself will start producing the answers to that. I know it's a complicated answer and it's a guess, but that would be my educated guess. All right, on to the next question. And let me actually let me see this. I'm gonna bring the chat out here like this. Okay. Um, let's see. Can I do this? Yes. So let me just bring the chat in, and we will bring the logo in. All right. So the next question is, man, Thai girls are super rude. They love to ignore men, hit men over a banter, eat with the mouth open, start drama over past relationships. No thanks. Okay, so that has not been my experience at all. However, there are Thai girls like this, and if that's the experience you had, Tony, it is your fault. And I've said it many times. Um, Most men, Western men who come here, they bring themselves with them, right? They bring the lack of self-respect, the lack of self-confidence, having no idea how to build and protect your own boundaries, and most importantly, complete inability to identify a good woman. So a lot of foreigners, and I'm sorry to say this, and I thank you for participating in my chat, but I gotta call you out, Tony. It looks like you were one of those men who essentially came here, didn't learn Thai, went for the girls who speak English, didn't mind the tattoos or the nose rings or their demeanor, ignored all the red flags, and ended up with the shittiest possible Thai women. Because I got to tell you, if you would have lived in the Thailand where I live, which is not the touristy Thailand that you must have visited, none of what you say is true. It's just none of it. So I would invite you, Tony, to one, take my course, and secondly, come here and experience Thailand in a different way, with some self-improvement, with some self-respect, with some boundaries, and with some much better radar of what good women are. Don't go to Nana Plaza. Don't go to Sukhumvit. Don't go to Soy 11. Don't go to Soy Cowboy. Fuck that. Why? Then you're gonna find girls like this. You know, go to my area. I live in Ding Dang, you know, Rama 9 area. There's plenty of areas where there are great, kind, traditional women. Go to some provinces. IUTI is just a great destination to go to, but Chechen Sao and Patum Thani, Rayong also. These are some really great provinces just within 1 hour drive, 1.5 hour drive from Bangkok, and those women will be very different. So you have experienced, Tony, the typical wrong way to do Thailand, a wrong way to pass per bro way. I invite you to come back again, take my course. It's not that expensive. It will be worth it, and come back with a completely new look on and meet completely different type of women in or different country. Like I said, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Philippines, all good, all good. All right. Next and maybe last question, if I don't get any more. How do you perceive Thailand about 10, 20 years? Oh, okay. You already asked that, right? Um, yeah, so I think I already answered that. But Tony just replied. So let's see. I met most girls Latin dancing compared to the international scene. Thai sucks. All right. Well, but you met girls Latin dancing. So did okay, Tony? I got some questions. Okay, did these women speak English or did you speak Thai to them? What was the location? Was it in a Sukhumvit area, which is a touristy sort of Farang area, foreigner area, or was it in a province or in just regular parts of Bangkok, right? Because I'm assuming a traditional, not assuming, I can tell you, a traditional Thai woman is not likely to know even what Latin dancing is. You see what I'm saying? So, real quick before I have to sign off, because I've been live streaming for way too long, I think. Let me know. What is it? Almost hour and a half, and I have some delicious Thai food to have for my lunch after this. Tell me because I'm assuming the answers are yes to that. But listen, I lived here for more than 2 years. I can vouch for this, right? What you have experienced is what a foreigner experiences when you do Thailand wrong and you do not improve yourself when you get here. You've allowed, like you said, Thai girls are super rude. You allowed and you did not identify women that, hey, that woman looks like she's a bitch, right? Your radar is off. right? There's no one's rude here to me ever, you know. And I like, why do I avoid Western women? Because I don't like women to be rude to me, right? Why do I avoid westernized Thai women? Because I don't like women to be rude to me. This is why I don't open doors for them. um all right. Tony says Latin dancing is a community. Chiang Mai, Bangkok, now Phuket. Well, listen, if you're in Phuket, it's your own fucking fault. That's not a place to be. That's not even Thailand. That's like Russia slash India slash Australia. So I'm sorry. I mean, we can't. If you're now in Phuket, you're doing everything wrong. Chiang Mai actually. So Chiang Mai is very interesting because it has the biggest competition, right? Because the richest, best looking, making most money expats in their 20s and 30s are in Chiang Mai in really large numbers, right? So competition is pretty big there for you. So, and I live in Bangkok, so I can definitely vouch for that. I was in Chiang Mai for a little bit, but good. And I have a couple of friends who live there permanently, so they that I'm quite familiar. Um, but you didn't answer my question, honestly. Latin dancing is a community. Like, listen, but Tony, listen, I were these women speaking English? Because if they have been, you did it wrong. Sorry, I cannot emphasize it enough. You know, a real Thailand, people don't speak English. Okay, they're Thai people. They speak Thai. They speak Thai. They don't speak English. Those women who speak English, they're not really Thai anymore most of the time. They already westernized American women. So you can't complain that you showed up here and said, "Hey guys, my name is Tony. You get any of those ratchet hoes that we have in my country, but with Thai faces, please do make sure that they speak, English and have the shitty attitudes and tattoos and nose rings." So you showed up, said that, and everybody said, "Here, we have some of them for you, Tony, right here." And you're like, "Well, I don't like them." Well, Tony, you got to have a different strategy, right? And again, if these women are rude to you, you pick the wrong women. You have to take responsibility, right? We as men have to take responsibility for for what we choose as men, right? And by the way, the red flags on women are not that hard to tell, right? They're wearing them. They are wearing them. If you're here in Thailand, when a girl's wearing short shorts here, it's not an appropriate attire. When she has tattoos, it's not appropriate. You know, a lifestyle or nose rings or fucking, any type of color hair, all of that stuff. This is not that hard to tell. You can even from the distance. Can you hear a girl from a distance? Because if you can't, she is not the right girl. The right girl here speaks very softly. You cannot hear her from the distance. You can't even hear from another table at the coffee shop. I'm not even kidding. I'm not trying to be dramatic. If you can hear a girl from the other side of a goddamn coffee shop, she ain't it. She run. Do not talk to her. Let's see. Tony says, true, the best Thai girls I met didn't speak English. First girl to pay for my movie ticket. Thanks. Don't let women pay for your shit, Tony. You're a man. You pay for shit. Okay. Um, Listen, Tony, I know you've been in my live chats before. Why don't we continue this conversation? And next time, drop me all of the answers to my questions, right? Um, Meaning, like, these rude Thai women, did they speak English? I have a feeling, yeah. Did they have tattoos? I have a feeling, yes. Were they loud speaking or they soft speaking? Are they, Latin dancing? Wrong place to meet traditional Thai women, right? Go to a temple, not to the Latin dancing in the middle of a touristy area, right? Which also costs money, right? How much did it cost? I'd like to know. If it was 2, 3, 400 baht, traditional Thai women usually cannot afford that in the first place. So somebody paid for those tickets, either their career or some dude from the past or from the current life of these girls. So, all right, guys, listen, I have a live streams for way too long, an hour and a half. Thanks for sticking around. Thank you to Tony and everybody else who participated in the chat. That is my favorite part of my live streams, is to actually interact. Tony, I would love to continue your conversation here. But, Tony, if you reach out to me on, let's say, X, it's the million men, million actually in numbers, THE, then one, then 6 zeros, then men, MEN, or under the same handle on Instagram. Maybe you can get on with me here on the webcam and we can have this conversation in real life, because I have a feeling you are somebody who wants what I want, but you have not done some of the things that you may not know how to do in order to do that. And I would love to have that conversation live. Let me know if you would be up for it. I think it would be great rather than just going back and forth in the chat, though I'm perfectly fine with that as well. But it is time for my delicious lunch for $1.80 and a smoothie. And then off I go to make another video for you guys. So thanks for hanging out with me. Tomorrow we will be reviewing another video. I have tons of videos that are piled up that I wanted to react to. I don't know which one I'm going to pick, but I'll be here tomorrow at the same time. All right. Have a great the rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow.